Audiobook Sanatan Dharma Swami Shwarananda Giri presented by Ashok Vyas. Chapter A Thumb Rule for Dharma. We have seen that the dharma of extroversion, pravritti, must first be actively practiced. It is the beginning, the first exercise for almost all of us. But as soon as we enter this field of action, a thousand doubts are practical and practical difficulties assail us. A devout Muslim says it is holy to sacrifice a goat on the Eid festival, and the saintly Jain protests that it is the most sinful deed one can imagine. Different sects prescribe different courses of action, which very often are conflicting. One begins to doubt if there is any truth at all in these opposing ideas. But there is a clue, a simple formula which can save one from all this confusion and skepticism. This is based on the fact that the world is an integral whole. Ayutha Siddha Va Yavya. That is to say, nothing can exist in the world by itself, completely independent and separated from others by a watertight compartment. Take, for instance, such a simple thing as your food. You think you are paid for it with your hard earned money, and so you need not thank anyone for it or feel bound to share it. But a little thinking will show that not one or two, but the whole world has a share in it and deserves your thanks. The grocer, to start with, is your first dependence. Grocer too cannot produce his rice, wheat, etc. in the courtyard of his city house. He depends on the foodstuff that are transported from villages. Transport service will have nothing to transport if farmers do not work hard in their fields and raise up crops. Then again, the train or bus service depends on a thousand factors: the station master, signal officer, and other staff. The workers who made the roads or forged the rails and laid them up firmly in line. And to penetrate further into the inquiry, the miners who brought out the ore from the bowels of earth and smelted them in factories for the making of rails and other machine parts, and so on. The line of dependence stretches unendingly till it has bound the whole humanity into a single unit for this simple function: giving your daily meal. What is the result of such a minute inquiry? It is invaluable. This leads us to the awareness that the world is, as we told in the beginning, an ayuthase dha va yava ya, a complete whole. And so long as we maintain this awareness, we will not fall prey to strong likes and dislikes which impel one to violate dharma. Just as in the case of your body, each limb has a distinct function, but is all the same, non different from your body. You cannot say feet are less desirable than eyes, ears are more lovable than nose. If each limb should think of itself as separate from body and foster likes and dislikes towards others, the result will be disastrous. Hands and mouth will say, "We always labor together food and put it into the body. The stomach only knows how to gorge on it. Why should we be slaves? Let us strike work." Very soon, along with the pinching hunger in the stomach, hands will grow weak and mouth crave for food. When particular cells in the tissues of the body begin to develop themselves out of pace with the surrounding growth, you get that incurable disease called cancer. Similar is the birth of social evil, of adharma in the society. So, the clue we are seeking is obviously this: whatever divides and disrupts is adharma. Whatever forges all the world into one unit is dharma. Hence, jealousy, hatred, suspicion, violence, cheating, etc., are adharma. Friendliness and love, trust and non violence, these are dharma. And any act that springs from these feelings, we can safely count as dharma. When the awareness of the world's unity is strong, then dharma becomes easy and natural. The girl next door meant nothing to you few years ago, and had she been seriously ill and her poor father sought your aid, most probably you might have thought of some excuse. But now she's married to your only son. She's the queen of your household, and you have no hesitation in handing over all the keys to her. Why? Because you know she's your own. This feeling of ownness very often centers around a limited family circle. That is why dharma has a truncated growth. It may even give place to cruel hypocrisy and utter adharma. Nowadays, we raise lusty slogans for equality and at the same time put bullets through innocent monkeys because they are nuisance, enemies of our economy. The samatha or equality that our dharma dictates is quite different. Samaha shatrau cha mitrai cha, says the Gita, equal unto the foe and the friend. It is very significant why foe is mentioned first. To treat your friends equally with as much love and regard as you show to yourself is quite easy, but in case of one whom you dislike or consider unfavorably disposed towards you, such a treatment becomes an impossibility. But until you are able to do this, the cancer of hatred and jealousy can never be cured. Perfect adherence to dharma will be a far cry. Hence, equality with the foe is insisted upon as a primary treatment. This can be achieved by discrimination. Whenever you feel someone acting adversely towards you and you are inclined to label him as your enemy, reason within yourself this way: why does he desire to harm me? Either something in my behavior towards him has caused this, or he must have misunderstood me. If the former is the case, then I deserve the harm he is intending. If the latter is true, then I must try to correct the mistake by approaching him with understanding and open friendliness. Suppose neither of these is true and he is by nature wicked, then he is violating dharma and causing harm to himself, not to me. Why should I get disturbed? This will ensure your poise, and what is more, it'll have a telling effect on the man concerned. Sooner or later, he is bound to give up his adverse attitude. The forces of adharma are turbulent and transitory. Dharma is infinite patience and knows how to wait. The same course of action is to be taken in other instances that betray our lack of equipoise. One of the most important and frequent of these instances is that of honor and dishonor. Hence, the Gita goes on to add, Sama shatrau cha mitrai cha tatha manapamanayoho. That is, likewise, be same in honor and dishonor. Man is very sensitive to these. If he is physically hurt or materially deprived in any way, he may take it easy, but on the point of what he considers his honor, he is up to anything, even murder or suicide. But what is honor or dishonor? What does it pertain to? Usually it is to this physical body of yours. Analyze its contents. The structure of bones, bound and plastered and painted over with nerves, flesh, blood, and tainted skin. Nothing in its stuff or its contents is pleasing or edifying in any way. So, if anyone insults it, why should one be cross? And if another chooses to honor it, that too quite deserving. There's nothing in it to get excited about. For the body, all the same, is a fine instrument for the supreme attainment of life's goal, moksha. In this way, discrimination helps one to be equal to honor and dishonor, pain and pleasure, and other such pairs of opposites, and thus maintain the unity of all things, the spirit of dharma. Here is a doubt may arise legitimately. One may say, truth holds us together and untruth divides. So, truth is dharma and untruth is adharma. But the converse may also be true in many cases, whereby sticking to truth You seem to displease others and even get separated from them. Does untruth then become the dharma to be followed? Reason tells us that it cannot be so. Then there'll be no definite form of dharma. It will be a changing, conflicting entity, which, as we have seen in the beginning, it is not. It is fundamental law. So, between dharma and our mental capacity to grasp things, the latter alone can be suspected to be incorrect, and effort should be made to improve it. It is an obvious fact that our mental capacities are limited and undeveloped at present. We are not omniscient like God, or do we possess the keen insight of the rishis? So, what is apparently a division and a conflict to us may actually be a union and a harmony in the universal sense. Administration of a bitter dose of medicine may displease the patient, but it meant only for the good. At the same time, all bitter things are not medicine, and all medicines do not cure the same disease. Only a qualified doctor can justly recommend a bitter medicine. Similarly, special knowledge is necessary before we can definitely say this act is harmful to and disharmonious with this man's dharma. Here comes the necessity of scriptures. Therein is inlaid this knowledge of the nature of things and the special dharma based on it. Without referring to them, it is impossible for any man, however clever he may be, to decide in certain exceptional cases what is dharma and what is adharma. Helping a misguided youth to commit suicide is no help at all. Giving drinks to a habitual drunkard is no gift at all. It may need more than your ordinary brains to determine how to express your kindness and charity, which certainly are the general dictates of dharma, samanya dharma. That takes us to a new subject where we are required to enlarge our knowledge of the principles behind definite forms of dharma, vishesh dharma.